Hit it. Yep. Go ahead.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The combined agenda and regular meeting of the Monroe Township Council is called to order on this evening of October 2nd, 2023. Would we all please rise to honor our flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get this chair moving. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Charles DePiero?
Here.
Councilman Michael Markell?
Here.
Councilwoman Rupa P. Siegel?
Here.
Council Vice President Terrence Van Zura?
Here.
Council President Miriam Cohen?
Present. Would you please read the sunshine law into the record?
Certainly. Please let the record show that Mayor Delina is absent this evening. Alan, if you...
Yep. Madam Clerk, just wanted to let you know that unfortunately the mayor could not be here tonight. He is by his wife's side as her mother is seriously ill in the hospital.
Thank you. We are sorry and extend our wishes for perhaps a speedy recovery and an easy time for the family.
I'll move on to the Sunshine Law. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, it is hereby announced and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting that adequate notice has been provided by the following. 1, posted on the bulletin boards within the municipal building on December 30th, 2022, and remains posted at that location for public inspection. 2, printed in the Home News Tribune and the Cranberry Press on December 30th, 2022. 3, posted on the Monroe Township website. And 4, sent to those individuals who have requested personal notice. In accordance with Chapter 3, Section 17 of the Monroe Township Code, public notice shall be, or public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes until further time is granted by the Council President.
Thank you. Item 5 on our agenda is the swearing-in ceremony. The oath of office is administered by our Township Clerk, Patty Reed.
You're going to turn it over to the Chief.
And I am going to turn this over to our Chief with great pleasure and honor to do so.
Thank you, Council President.
Coordinate the swearing-in ceremony.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, families, public, thank you for being here tonight, Council. Thank you for giving up your time and showing up for all those who are related, and also those who are not working tonight and yet came to work, got dressed to support your fellow officers. Tonight, we're not only swearing in 3 officers, but we're honoring or recognizing 4 officers for their work with the Mothers Against Drunk Driving initiative for the County of Middlesex. So first, tonight, I will like to call up the officers officer one at a time, getting sworn in. Matthew Holtz, could you please step forward? And you can have your whole family come up. They can all come up. How can you say no? Real quick, Matthew Holtz comes to us from Neptune City PD. Matthew was in the Marines from 2013 to 2017. After the Marine Corps, Matthew put himself through the police academy in the alternate route at Neptune City PD. He served as the resiliency trainer, the radar instructor, a field sobriety testing officer, and an alcohol test operator, and he also graduated the Top Gun Academy, I believe it's Monmouth County? Yes. Holding the Bible for him tonight was his lovely wife, Lauren, his Mackenzie, Kane, and Nora, his son and 2 daughters.
She looks like her mom.
I, Matthew Holtz, do solemnly swear
I, Matthew Holtz, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of
I could hold
police officer of the Monroe Township Police Department
police officer of the Monroe Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations. You could leave her, I'll hold her, we're good. Chief?
I now call Officer Dovidas Jakovicius. Officer Jakovicius comes to us from Jamesburg Police Department. He graduated Brookdale Community College, associate's degree, in 2019 in Health and Science. He was hired by Lavalette Police and put him through the Ocean County Police Academy, where he graduated, and now we picked him up in April. Holding the Bible for him tonight. Is your mom? Your mom made it. Okay. Thank you. His mom, Diana.
I, Dovidas Jakovicius, do solemnly swear
I, Dovidas Jakovicius, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in the state
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
police officer of the Monroe Township Police Department
police officer of the Monroe Township Police
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
I would now like to call Officer Stephanie Pagano. Officer Pagano comes to us from, I believe we got her from Deal Police. She was in the academy. We hired her from there, out of the academy. And she went to Wagner College, where she got a dual bachelor's degree in psychology and sociology. There's a lot to read here. In addition to receiving her bachelor's degrees, she received her master's degree in social work from Columbia in 2017 with a focus in general practice, programming, concentration in health, mental health, and disabilities. Nationally registered EMT, graduate of Monmouth County Police Academy in the spring of 2023, who received the New Jersey PTC Training Commission's certification. Holding the Bible to her tonight will be Barry Rubino, her fiance.
I, Stephanie Pagano, do solemnly swear
I, Stephanie Pagano, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of New Jersey,
and the state of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of
all the duties of
police officer of the Monroe Township Police Department
police officer of the Monroe Township Police Department
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability.
so help me God.
So help me God.
I would now like to recognize the 4 officers who were recognized by the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Initiative for Middlesex County. Actually, it's for the National Mothers Against Drunk Driver Initiative. They were established in 1980, and what their goal was, there was 13,000 people a year dying in DWI accidents. They were trying to get that number down to nothing. These 4 officers, and Sergeant Jason Cohn, Officer Joseph Sella, Officer Sean Marr, and Officer Jake Lloyd. Sergeant Cohn was recognized as a drug recognition expert, and he received such an award. Officer Sella had recognition of excellence, the award and certification on that. Sean Marr, also the same award as Officer Sella. Officer Jake Lloyd was the top cop in Middlesex County with DWI arrest. He led the entire county. So with that, nowadays we're hearing all these bad things about police officers. These officers out there really risking themselves. That's it, Council
Chief,
President.
I thank you for the presentation. As is our usual custom, I know my council colleagues would, of course, like to make a statement. I
Anywhere you
will
want. There is nothing wrong. Anywhere you want to go.
go where you want to go. This
You want to
is
go sit back down? It's up to you. You stand over here. Come on over.
see, Chief, you and all of your officers know that we in Monroe Township are extremely proud of our police department. We are always proud of the work they do. We are proud of the fact that we are such a safe town. It is my honor as president of the council to say to you, welcome, welcome. You will be an addition to an already wonderful police force. And so we look forward to your having very many years of service. And to those of you who won awards, I'm sure it won't be the last group of awards that your officers win, sir. And I'm going to go down the ranks. I will start on my left with Woman Siegel, please.
Thank you. So really, I just want to say congratulations to our new officers. This is an amazing family to be part of. Our police department does so much for our entire community. So I welcome you all, and congratulations to all the officers for your award tonight. Mothers Against Drunk Driving is a very established national organization, and they do so much, and thank you for what you have done with that. Thank you.
Council Vice President. Hi.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, repeat, congratulations to everybody. We always try hard to keep Monroe the safe town that it is, and a lot of times we brag on it. We say how safe we are, but it's not anything we do, it's what you guys do. We just try to give the chief the proper manpower and give you the proper tools so that you guys can do your job. And time and time and time again, you honor us with the service that you do. You do it professionally, you do it in a manner that's respectable, and you do it very effectively as well. We can't ask for anything more. I just want to say one thing, Chief. I got to honor you because you were able to pronounce Officer Jakovicus's name. I thought that was pretty impressive. So thank you, guys. I wish you the best, and welcome to the force.
To my immediate right, Councilman Mike Markell, Ward 1.
We'd just like to welcome the new officers. You're joining a great Monroe family here, and it's fantastic that we have you. Congratulations. The officers that receive the awards, you deserve the highest praise. You're keeping our streets safe, and the police department should get much recognition for that. Like the chief said, there's some bad press about police officers, but when you're in trouble, who are you going to call? Not the Ghostbusters. You're going to call the police department. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Councilman DePiero.
Just want to say welcome. Stay safe out there. Congratulations on the awards, and welcome to the family of Monroe. Stay safe.
Mr. Weinberg.
Maybe a 5-minute recess, take some quick pictures.
Sure. We will be in recess for 5 minutes, please. Picture taking by families. We reconvene the agenda meeting, folks. Thank you all. The proclamations this month. We have a proclamation for Becker Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Week of October 1st through October 7th, National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the month of October of this year. Hindu Heritage Month is also in October, and Rett Syndrome Awareness Month is in October. Clerk, please read the ordinances for second reading.
09-2023-024, ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to acquire right-of-way dedication over property at 400 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, known as Block 76, Lot 6.02, on the Township of Monroe tax map. 09-2023-025, ordinance amending Chapter 116 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing and Storing of Vehicles.
Thank you. Item 8 is the resolutions for consideration under the consent agenda at the October 2nd, 2023 regular meeting, and that's R10-2023-223 through R10-2023-237. Would all council members please review again any of these resolutions? You wish them removed from the agenda, please so state. Mr. Councilman DePiero.
Yes, I have R10, 2023-223. R10, 2023-224. R10, 2023-230. R10, 2023-235. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any resolutions they wish removed from the consent agenda? We will move to item 9, which is the public comment section. This is comments by the public are limited to agenda items only. It's 5 minutes per speaker. I would like a motion to open the public portion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address the council, please come forward. Please come forward. State your name and address for our record.
Pat Swaljay, 586A Madison Drive. My question is, I don't know if this is appropriate time to ask it, why are these resolutions pulled out of the regular agenda for a...
It is the privilege of the council people to have resolutions that they believe that they cannot vote on and ask that they be removed from the consent, from the agenda.
Okay. Is there a reason why that...
No one is required to offer a reason.
Okay.
There
All
is a piece of information that is not generally known, but when you abstain, it goes with the majority vote.
Okey doke. Thank you.
You're welcome. Please.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. Resolution 10, 2023-227. The award bid to Pioneer General Contracting for concrete improvement projects, $145,525. Is that solely for actual concrete work, or are there soft costs in that, design costs, things like that?
Mr. Razumowitz, please.
Council President, that's all hard costs. There are some tree items in there also, so it's not just concrete.
I don't know, tree items?
Tree item means what?
I'm sorry, there's some tree removal items in there, and concrete curbs, sidewalks, aprons.
Basically, okay.
And it's all construction costs, so hard costs.
There's no design costs or anything involved in this one?
No.
Okay. And I will get up again for the ordinance readings. However, ordinance 09-2023-024, is that an eminent domain purchase, dedication of property, authorizing the Township of Monroe to acquire the right-of-way of dedication? Is that done by eminent domain, or was that?
Oh, Mr. Gordon will take that.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
No, those are voluntary conveyances of right-of-ways that are needed for roadway improvements.
And when you say voluntary conveyances, are they attached to approvals of applications for development?
No, it's part of a roadway improvement project that
Council
we
President?
needed their
Sorry, Council
Mr.
President, if I can
Esmond
add to
has
it, this was an developer application before the board for a single home, and as part of that approval, there was right-of-way dedication for future road widening. But it was for one single home.
Okay. Okay. So it is a developer application that is in conjunction with the right-of-way necessary for this. I just want to be clear.
Yeah, yes, there's an application before our board, and yes.
Okay, are we paying for that right-of-way? No, right? It's part of the application agreement?
Yes.
There's no compensation outside of
The approval for the application?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't look far enough to my left. Excuse me?
Didn't look far enough to your left, which was surprising, because usually you encompass everyone.
Your name and address for the record, please.
Lucille Panos, 1208 Ceylon Dara Plaza. Resolution 2023-236. It's a change order with an increase of $52,000, $52,500. That contract was just awarded less than a month ago for $149,000. Was there any other bids? Because I find it questionable or weird why a contractor would bid $149,000 and then in 3 weeks later come back and say we need $52,000 more. Were there other bids on this contract? Maybe you should relook at that.
Would you like me to?
Mr. Weinberg?
Sure. So this was, thank you, Council President. This was done through a co-op, which is part of the either, in general, as part of NJSA 40:11-1. When you go out to bid on projects, you can also use a state contract or a pre-approved co-op, like Educational Services Commission. This was done through the Bergen County Co-op, where they went out to bid, created prices for certain roof contracts, and you could choose certain things off their already bidded projects for your project. We made a certain set of choices that led to $148,000 based on what we thought we needed for the roof. Ultimately, the building department came in and said that we should use a different type of 5/8 inch plywood, one that is fire resistant, and to add an H channel, which is an additional amount of work on the roof. So all they had to do before the project started was plug in those already bid prices from the Bergen County Co-op. And this group was already pre-approved through the Bergen County Co-op. So what you really see here is a change of scope in the project before it started, and we're working through a co-op as part of that.
Okay, if you're going to have a change of scope, maybe you should have a change of how you looked at it from the get-go. Right from the beginning, you should have, your builder, whoever came back and told you, we need this, you should have, shame for whoever didn't do that. So I'm going to, again, ask you to reconsider this, go back and do due diligence. Maybe it might come back that this is needed, but whoever told you to change, and 3 weeks later after the bid, that just doesn't seem fair.
I would like to respond to that.
Please
So
do, Mr. Weinberg.
DPW originally did the specs on this, and it probably would have been prudent to make sure their design met the building code.
Prudence is good
Okay,
government,
that's what,
yes.
being candid
But
with
it
you.
didn't happen.
Once the building department looked at it and said these are the requirements that we'll need to do, then we have to do these safety requirements. It's not sort of an
Listen,
option.
I'm not going to
So-
sit here because I know you're all going to do it anyway, but prudence is what good government should be all about, and this was not an example of it. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to address the council, please come forward now. Don't want to miss anyone in the room. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to entertain a motion to close the public
Motion.
portion. May I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Public portion of the meeting is closed. Reading my glasses more and more. I'd like a motion to adjourn the agenda session, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Second on that?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zura.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, the agenda meeting is adjourned. we would like to convene the regular meeting,
7:02.
7:02 PM. May I have a motion to convene our regular meeting?
So
Motion.
moved.
Thank
Second.
you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, this meeting is open, and our second item of business is a motion to approve the payments of claims per the run date of September 27th, 2023. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Thank you. Motion to approve the minutes of the following meetings as written and presented. September 6, 2023, the agenda and regular combined meeting.
Motion.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Ordinance for second reading. 09-2023-024. Ordinance authorizing the Township of Monroe to acquire a right-of-way dedication over property at 400 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, known as Block 76, Lot 6.02, on the Township of Monroe tax map. Motion to open a public hearing, please.
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
So the public hearing is now open. Anyone wishing to comment on this ordinance, please come before the council now. May I have, seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is closed, and I would like a motion to adopt ordinance 09-2023-0224. Motion, please.
Motion to adopt, please.
Thank you. A second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Ordinance 09-2023-025. Ordinance amending Chapter 116 of the Code of the Township of Monroe entitled Towing and Storing of Vehicles. May I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Anyone wishing to address the council on this ordinance, please come forward now. Yes. And please, again, your name and address for our records.
Shell Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. Is it, I'm not even gonna sit. Is this an increase in fees?
No.
No. What are the changes?
Council President, if I may.
Yes, please.
We moved to a 3-year application. I believe we just finished the 3-year. This is just requiring the tow operators to submit annual renewals of like their insurance, how it renews annually. If they get any new personnel or registrations, they just have to submit their paperwork on an annual basis on when it expires.
What was it previously? You said 3 years?
It was a 1-year application prior to that. We're in a current, we do 3 years now.
So now it's 3 years, and
Yep.
it's just essentially an update of renewal information?
Yep, basically that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else wish to come before the council? Again, seeing and hearing none, may I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion.
Thank you. May I have a second on that?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 09-2023-0255, please?
Motion.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Yes.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Vanzora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes, carries. We move to resolutions. Would the clerk please? We have them for consideration under the consent agenda, the R10 2023-223 through R10 2023-237.
With the exceptions of R 2023, R 2024, R230, and R235.
Correct?
I'm good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
No problem.
May we have a motion to adopt, please?
So moved.
Thank you. A second on that.
Second.
Thank you again. A roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
No.
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Item 6, the resolutions removed for the consent agenda for consideration. Please list them.
R2023, R2024, R230, and R235.
Thank you. May I have a motion?
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, do them one at a time, I've just been told.
Oh, you want to vote them at one
I've
at a
just
time?
been
No
told
problem.
that we're doing it
No
one at a
problem. So this is for just Resolution 223. A motion and a second. And a
Motion,
vote.
please.
so moved.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay, I'm just trying to make my notes.
That's okay. We're not running away.
No problem. Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Siegel. Or excuse me, Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Now this is Resolution 224. Ask a motion.
Motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Second on that.
Second.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
One more time. One more time.
Vote.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. Resolution 230.
Motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
235.
235. Apparently I have one more.
R235. Motion and a second.
Motion, please.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman DePiero.
Abstain?
Councilman Markel.
Yes.
Councilwoman Siegel.
Yes.
Council Vice President Van Zora.
Yes.
Council President Cohen.
Yes.
Okay. Got them all.
Got them all?
Yep.
Oh, that is a good thing. We'll move to council reports and begin with our business
Yeah,
What did I do now?
administrative reports.
administrative report, and that's Mr. Weinberg.
Yes, thank you very much, Council President. As I mentioned during roll call, I know some folks came in earlier. Unfortunately, the mayor could not be here tonight. He is by his wife's side as her mother is seriously ill in the hospital. So just wanted to make a note of that. So I have some comments here. I'll try and be somewhat brief, but they're a little bit long. So the mayor did ask me to share some comments on a future partnership with the Board of Education at our meeting tonight. He hopes to have more details on this at the next meeting in November, but he is working with the Board of Ed president towards a shared services agreement to take advantage of a $4 million state ROD grant and a $1 million state budget grant, both of which are specifically for Applegarth school improvements. The mayor said we always want to make sure we take advantage of state dollars and that they stay in Monroe and they benefit Monroe children. At the mayor's direction, our professionals are mapping out a path to make this agreement a reality. Once the mayor has the details of the $5 million shared services agreement, which will include a future bond expenditure by the township, he will brief the council. He hopes to have an announcement soon about the partnership surrounding these state grants with the Board of Education. Speaking of shared services agreement, the administration is pleased with the shared services agreement with Fire District Number 2 that was on this agenda. Working together like this, the township can accomplish more for the taxpayers. Mayor DeLina has been a big proponent of shared services agreement and will continue to do that when it helps Monroe taxpayers, as mentioned in the earlier comments. Also pleased to see another state OEM grant of $10,000 on this agenda, which actually comes from the federal government through the state for OEM training and technology. Regarding OEM, the last week was busy with storms in our region. A tropical storm and an inverted trough passed through our area this past week. We want to thank the DPW, the OEM, MTUD for their preparations and actions to make sure we were ready. In both cases, the higher amounts of rain were in other places, but certainly appreciate the communication and the work of OEM in these groups. The library is making some exciting improvements to their front desk area for the next 2 months. Might be a little shorter than that. They are open, just pardon their appearance. It will look terrific when it's completed and open up their entrance. It'll be a much more open experience as you walk in. You may know the library processed over 402,000 transactions last year, 10% more than in 2021, so it's a pretty busy place. Switching gears, pleased to announce that Monroe is again the second lowest overall effective tax rate in Middlesex County, and we were again rated AA+ bonding by Standard & Poor's. This is positive for our community, and the refinancing of our debt 2 years ago and 3 years ago we accomplished during those historically low interest rates has reduced our debt service and kept our tax rate stable. 2 upcoming shredding events, always popular. Saturday, October 14th, there's a county shredding event at the Cranberry School, not too far from Monroe. We'll send a reminder out on Facebook. It starts at 9 a.m. And usually goes till the truck is full, hopefully 12 o'clock. And on Friday, November 3rd, the county shredding will be at Thompson Park. Again, we'll send out another reminder about that for those who like to shred. As a reminder, the township will once again have our Veterans Day recognition on Saturday, November 11th at 9 a.m. at the Veterans Park Monument at Avenue K. This is coordinated with the American Legion, and all our residents are welcome to attend. As in the past, there will also be a Veterans Celebration Luncheon the Sunday before Veterans Day at the Senior Center. This is open to all veterans and is sponsored by the Township on November 5th at 12 p.m. It is an important opportunity for the Mayor and Council to recognize those who have served. The Mayor was also invited to attend the Regency Veterans Day recognition event on Saturday, November 10th, and another veterans event at Clearbrook on October 11th, which he will attend both. Lastly, the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Federal Communications Commission are planning a nationwide emergency alert system test for Wednesday, October 4th at 2:20 p.m. Text messages will be sent to all TVs, radios, and cell phones. OEM has been sharing this information with the community, but asked me to mention it here as well, as people's telephones, radios, and cell phones will all have a distinct alarm that'll happen at that time. So just as a reminder. Thank you, Council President.
You're most welcome. Before I move to my council colleagues, I wanted to comment on something that occurred. You know that we all talk about the wonderful emergency medical services that we have, and we recently honored our retiring EMS director in what was truly a beautiful and moving celebration. But this incident occurred that I wanted to share with folks because before we forget the work that they do, life-saving and life-giving. So on September 29th of 2022, Monroe Township EMS and Monroe Township Police Department were dispatched for a woman in labor. EMTs McGee and Klosick responded from EMS Station 4, along with EMS Supervisor Hayes from EMS headquarters. While en route, dispatch advised units that birth may be imminent, and Klosick, McGee, and Hayes helped deliver a healthy baby boy at approximately 11 a.m. Very nice. Nathan and his mother stopped by earlier this week for his first birthday to visit with their heroes and thank them for their service. You have heard each and every one of us here, and I'm sure each and every one of you has always commented on our amazing EMTs, that they are, we think, the best in the state. And I want to thank each of them. They deal with our residents in what is often a very vulnerable and scary time in their life. Not all are just the wonderful joy of delivering another live soul to our world. And they do it with incredible training. They do it with professionalism and compassion. They responded to over 11,000 calls for service in 2022. We are indeed fortunate to have them, and this is a nice incident to share. So I wanted to do that with you. I'm going to ask the engineer's report. I just preempted him just a little bit. Okay. Mark Rasimowitz, please.
Thank you, Council President. Quick update on a couple of the projects going on. First off, Old Bridge Englishtown Road and Mounts Mills Road intersection. That traffic signal construction has begun there. Please use caution in that area as the work progresses through over the next couple months. Secondly, our 2023 road program, we're finishing up the paving on that project. Volleyball courts at Veterans Park and at Patriots Park. The Veterans Park courts are complete. Patriots Park, about another 2 weeks, and that'll be complete. Spotswood Gravel Hill Road, it was an NJDOT grant project. The concrete work, we have about another 2 weeks of concrete sidewalks to complete, and I expect paving at the end of the month for that road. And that is Spotswood Gravel Hill from Machaponics down to towards Avenue K. And lastly, the Spotswood Englishtown Road drainage project that we did at Romero Court, that project is complete. I have contacted Middlesex County to advise them we are complete, and the county is scheduling to come out to do the repaving, the milling and repaving of that portion of Spotswood Englishtown Road. And that's my report.
Thank you. We will move to my colleagues on the council to their reports. I will begin again at my far left with the councilwoman from Ward 2, please.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Just wanted to share a couple updates. And first I wanted to talk about some of the proclamations. I know we have many on the agenda today, and one of them is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I just want to highlight that, you know, October is known for that, and I hope this proclamation serves as a reminder to all women to make sure you get your mammograms. We all get busy with our lives and we put things on our calendars and sometimes we overlook them, but early detection does really save lives. And knowing many survivors in my life and knowing many people all around, and I know we know others out there also know people that survive. So again, just remember it's an important note on your calendar. So I just remind all the women out there. Couple updates from the commissions. Our commissions are always hard at work, and a couple of the ones I liaison to. The Cultural Arts Commission has their annual juried art show at the library starting October 5th through the 14th, and this can also be viewed online. And also, I know I've been mentioning this the last couple months, Artrageous, which is an amazing family event, is going to be on October 15th at the PAC, so please do check the website. And again, there's so many wonderful programs that the Cultural Arts Commission does sponsor through the library too, so check that out. Environmental Commission, they had their Green Fair last week, and despite all the rain, it was a great turnout and lots of great information. So congratulations to the Environmental Commission and the Green Team for all their work for that event. And then our Historic Preservation Commission had their last open house yesterday. Just to share some of the numbers with their open house, it's just been truly remarkable. Over 500 people have visited the historic site this year. And something that they've done that was a little bit different is they invited guest speakers. So they had a beekeeper, American Indian artifacts, and a whole bunch of different speakers come, which really has helped them drive their numbers. But they've also been doing a lot of push on social media. They had over 10,000 people view their Facebook posts. So just wanted to thank the entire commission and our DPW who really keep the grounds looking beautiful and pristine, and also our Rho Kappa Honor Society students in the high school who spend a lot of time volunteering their time and working with the commission. This past Sunday, we had the honor to go join the mayor and the council help represent the Monroe Wolverines cheer teams with sweatshirts. Yes. To commemorate their outstanding achievements during the 2022-2023 season, including their impressive wins in national and global championships. So congratulations to the Monroe Wolverines.
20 years, Councilwoman Siegel. 20 years they've been winning awards.
Pretty amazing.
Not bad.
And that is my update.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
I'm going to ask Councilman Markell.
I just have a few comments. I'd like to just add something to Councilwoman Siegel's announcement on the art show. We have a lady at Rossmore by the name of Daisy Cohn who entered the Middlesex County, the older adult contest and show, and she won first place in Middlesex County. And her art is in the library, which will be available, I think, Monday, right? It'll be open Monday. So I just wanted to let you know we have a champion right here in Monroe and in Rossmore, where I live. So I'm kind of proud of that. Just want to comment on all the rain we've had here in Monroe. Everybody was concerned about flooding. Now, when it rains, we have so many problems. We've had so many problems in the past. It's kind of a... It hits me pretty personal. My hometown was flooded out over the last week, and I was sent pictures by friends there who had their homes totally flooded out. One in particular person who I had met in high school many years ago, we were 14 years old, his business was underwater. And I spoke to him about giving him some help. That brings me to our environmental commission here that is doing an excellent job. I just want to say that the environment is very important to protect. We are a silver sustainable community here in New Jersey. That's a big honor. There's only 36 of us in the state. We qualify for numerous awards as far as the environment is concerned. So I just wanted to touch on that. We had no flooding this time. Thank you very much here in Monroe. But if you've seen Jersey City, Hoboken, as I say, my hometown's in Westchester County, that was pretty much completely underwater. It was a very bad situation. The only other thing I want to say is that the Senior Center announced 7 trips for November, 7 new trips. I don't want to list them. I don't want to get too complicated here. But if you're interested in taking a trip through the Senior Center, February, October 20th at 9 a.m., they're going to open up for registration. And people have been telling me that they can't get on these trips. So if you want to get on them, take note, October 20th, 9 a.m., you better be there because they always have too many applications for the amount of people that they can handle. Anyway, that's my report. Everybody, thank you very much.
Councilman DePiero.
Thank you, Council President.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to point out that October is also Italian American Month that we should probably recognize. So we missed it. We missed it last year. So yeah, we didn't put a shout out. But I'd like to maybe next year maybe we can add that also. And I had a question in reference to the paving project that we're holding up here with the roof. Do we have a schedule on when the roof will be complete, when the paving will start out in this municipal building?
Which end of the table is going to answer? You're going to do that, right?
Council President, sure. As you're aware, there was a change order on tonight for the roof. So that was approved tonight, and the purchase order will be updated, and that contractor, I believe, is going to be starting later this week. And then the paving will follow once the roof is complete.
So it will be this year then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to, there was a baseball game at Dye Farm many of us attended that was sponsored by the Historic Commission. I wanted to say thank you to them. They did a fine job as always. The grounds are very nice, and you know, visiting the one-room school, my dad attended that school, and it brings back, I reminisce, you know, wonder what was running through my dad's mind when he was in that one-room school. And I visit there often, and it's just grounds that are very, very well preserved, and also it's nice to see the buildings. Hopefully we can get some grant money to get Stillwell's house repaired and some other barns out there so we can bring them back to life. Just wanted to say thank you to the Historic Commission and everybody that was involved in that project. 9/11, we all attended. It was in this room. It's something that, you know, I wanted to say thank you to the administration. I know Eileen worked very hard along with their first responders to get everything inside, and I just wanted to thank everybody for that that ceremony that was here that we all wish it didn't happen, but we don't forget, and we won't forget. I attended Congress Hill Farms, had a special need project for the adults and children, for the horses that roam their 200-acre farm, and it was very interesting to see how the horses and people with special needs and everybody there that volunteer. I just wanted to share that with everybody that's right here in Monroe, and it's nice to see a farm still stay in existence, and that's why my wife and we attended. It was very nice, and the owners were there, and they had a lunch, and it was very, very nice to see people with special needs be able to ride horses and communicate through horses. So I just wanted to say thank you to the owners of that. We attended all of us attended a League of Women Voters Senior Center. They had Meet the Candidates night, and I just wanted to say thank you to the League. It was it was something that, you know, it was put together by them. It's not easy to do it, but people that attended, I wanted to say thank you, and it's also available to view on their site, their website. The Green Team, liaison for the Green Team, the Green Fair, was very well attended, even though the weather wasn't cooperative, but it was a lot of hard work that everybody put together on that committee, and it was at the high school, and it was well organized and well attended. So I wanted to shout out and give everybody appreciation that was part of that. Also, as Councilwoman Siegel said, we attended the rec department had a cheer for as Council President said, 20 years. I mean, what kind of record is that? I mean, it's amazing. They do a fine job, and it's something that we're very proud of. And it was something to sit there and watch all the parents, the grandparents, the students, and just watch everybody work together as teamwork. And it's an honor to watch all of that and see our teams and our town be recognized year after year. And we wish them luck again this fall. I had a couple questions. I passed Meadowview Nursing Home pretty much every day, and I'm wondering if that building's been winterized.
Who's answering for me?
I'll check with DPW.
Check with
as a
DPW.
practical matter. They winterize all the buildings that are in our possession, but I'll reconfirm with DPW.
Okay, because most of the window air conditions are still in place of that building, and if we have heat on, I don't know if there's heat in the building or if we're going to drain everything, but there's a lot of window air conditioning units that probably can be taken out and windows closed or boarded up. And also, tonight, there's a road closure on Old Bridge Englishtown Road for the wet taps that are going to be done. Is that something that we notified our residents' website and also the residents on that street?
Mark.
Council President, yes. Contractor was putting out notices to the residents today.
Thank you.
Oh, we did it today?
Earlier today, or it happened Friday afternoon. But
Okay.
the latest.
All right, because again, I'd like to see that on our websites. If we're going to have a road closed or construction, we should have an ongoing construction status on our websites to see, so our residents are aware.
And Council President, I'm sorry, it's not a full road closure. It's in one direction. The other will be detoured just around the site through the Mounts Mill Road extension.
So go around Mounts Mill, but
Correct.
The road will be closed, though, for the wet
That
taps.
section will be closed, yes.
So it's nice just to let the public know what's going on, and also if we put it on our website so they can, they're aware of what's going on. As we know, Election Day is upon us. I wanted to say good luck to our clerk's office. They always do a fine job, and election started, and I just wanted to say thank you to our poll workers and also our clerk's office and everybody that's involved, and good luck to everyone. Community cleanups, we didn't do too many this year. Do we have anything that's coming up in the near future on community cleanups?
I can check with DPW. They've been scheduling them, so I'll certainly follow up with them. I know you had an interaction with the director, so I can certainly take a look and see what's going on with that. I know the DPW themselves have gotten a grant from the county and have been doing a significant number of cleanups themselves. But I understand your comment about the community cleanups.
Right.
I feel like DPW has been doing a pretty good job of keeping things clean with their grants, but I'll follow up with the director as well.
Yeah, that would be good, because we do give, we have grant money that we give to clubs, $500 and stuff, and there are people that are asking, but we're just not, we don't have a schedule. So if we could work on some kind of schedule for cleanups,
So
that would be
Council
good.
President, just to add in, we
Yes.
do have clubs going out doing all that work. I think what you're talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, is a township-wide cleanup in one location, and that's what I'll mention to the DPW director.
Yeah, like
But
the-
cleanups are happening with the different groups, et cetera.
Right, I see DPW working on Saturdays and stuff like that, but Matchaponic says a lot of debris, and there's a lot of main roads that are in need, so, of cleanup. So if there's something that we can get on schedule, I would support that, and I would be out there cleaning it up myself as well, as always. I've asked this in the past, how we doing with the server so we can have the meetings live on TV and Comcast and Verizon? I know it was 65,000, then it dropped to 35,000, and then I don't know, where are we with the server?
Right, so I believe the mayor had a conversation with the board president, articulating the position that, from his point of view, the township would certainly like to be helpful on that. And so I think they're going to work that into the shared services agreement I mentioned earlier, but I don't want to speak for the Board of Ed and the mayor, but that's my understanding.
Okay, so we're still not able to have meetings go to Comcast or Verizon for the public?
Correct, so the server's located at the Board of Ed, and we're trying to work on a plan regarding that.
Okay. Well, if you can keep us updated, I'd appreciate it, in the public. Hydrant flushing, are we completed with that project?
Mr. Strain?
Yes.
We are done. Okay, good. Tough question. That was a tough question, but thank you for that, and thank the guys for doing everything, keeping it safe. Thank you, Joe, and your staff, as always. Mounts Mill, Buckaloo, we have a barn there that we're trying to preserve. It has some boards flying around, and like it's winterized. If there's something we could do with that also, just to, if you can notify DPW or whoever, I'd appreciate that as well. State property, Camp Derrick, the old police department. Are we getting a deed for that property, or what's the update on that parcel?
Right, so as you know, the mayor and I have been working with the Department of Treasury. This is the 93 acres across the street from the boys' home on what would be the east side of Spotswood Englishtown Road, where the old police station was, for those of you who are following. So what we've been able to get done, and we're just waiting for it to effectuate, is those 93 acres are owned by the Juvenile Justice Commission and ultimately the Treasury Department. We've been able to get them turned into green acres, which is a positive development, and it's going, and that's going to happen hopefully in the next 3 months. We removed the police station, as you may recall. They've done some cleanup work in the back by Camp Derrick, and then they were surveying the property. And I expect that probably in the next month or two, and it's been a while, we will be able to have a public event with them if we like, or at least announce that those 93 acres are preserved in perpetuity through the Green Acres program, which will be a positive development for the town. So we are on the cusp. We are like 98% of the way there. The state government moves a little bit like a snail, not to attack them, but we are literally in the home stretch on those 93 acres.
Thank you for explanation. Thank you. And just keep in mind, there's a lot of dead trees out by the road there. If we could get that addressed, I don't know if they're going to address it or we have to address it, but there are quite a bit of dead trees close to the roadway, and there's some machinery still there, and with a fence all around it. I just wanted to also put a shout out to everybody. If we could shop local and support our local businesses, it's very important nowadays to try to keep the local businesses floating and being able to stay in business. So shop local is always important as an economic development liaison. It's something we talk about all the time, and it's something to keep in mind. I wanted to say Halloween's coming, so just a reminder: drive safe and keep in mind that they do this after school hours usually. So just keep in mind, with Halloween coming. And I just wanted to say one thing to our mayor and his family. I just hope everything works out for them, and we'll be saying a prayer. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Council Vice President, looking at him, smiling at me. There we go.
Yes. Thank you, Madam President. A couple items. I went to the Green Fair at the high school on the pouring rainy day, but I got to tell you, it was a very, very nice event. There were so many different things that were going on, but it was coordinated so well because you had a lot of high school students that were involved doing things, you had the adults that were involved, many different topics that you wouldn't have possibly even thought of, but they had a lot of informative locations there. They had one on electric vehicles. They literally tell you just about every electric vehicle for sale and what they cost and everything. A lot on solar, which of course is becoming more and more important, and even things just like the pollination type of things with the bees and all. Sounds trivial, but to some extent it really is important, and they put it together nicely. One of the things that I was particularly impressed with, and I urge everyone to consider, they did have a stand where they were promoting organ donors. So this is a very simple thing to do. You could do it right through your driver's license. If after you pass away you want to have your organs donated so that maybe somebody else could live, I think that's a great thing. I signed up myself, and I urge others to consider it. It's not for everybody perhaps, but I do think it's a good thing. And every now and then you read about some tragedy where someone dies, and yet, you know, the organs are saved and they help somebody else live. So if you could have that legacy, I think it would be a nice thing. But I just tell you, think about it and you make your own decision on that. Obviously, we have the Veterans Day celebration. I just want to clarify, that's November the 5th, and it's going to be from 12 to 2 at the Senior Center. And I know that's something that's near and dear to the mayor. He always does a great job with that, and we like to show our veterans the appreciation that we do have for them. Another thing that I wanted to mention, as we pass 9/11, it brings back memories of how much we care about our first responders, and that's our police, our EMS, all the people that go out to the scenes. Also reminds us of our nurses who are out there and working hard, and around COVID time in particular, I think we took on a special appreciation of nurses, because they would actually put themselves in harm's way to treat people, not knowing what the potential consequences were of their exposure to people who potentially had COVID. And quite a few nurses actually suffered, and some of them lost their lives as a result of it. So the reason I mention it right now, at Robert Wood Johnson, the nurses are on strike looking for better conditions. And I think that it's a worthy cause. I support them, and I urge you all to read about it. You make your own decision, but it's something that I think that we should look at and remember. These are nurses that are out there who are trying to get better conditions for their coworkers, and I think that's an important thing. Too many, if you have nurses that are working too many shifts and they're working too late and they get tired, they may not be as effective. It could be one of your loved ones that's in the hospital who may suffer adversely because of that. And that's really what they're pushing for. It's not specifically just a pay thing. So just think about it, and if you could see your way, read up on it, and if you feel it's appropriate, try and support them. And of course, one of the last things I want to mention again, the Ukrainian war continues to go on, and it's almost at a point now where, you know, it's become secondhand news where people don't like to talk about it. We just had to get past our last budget approval that happened over the weekend, and there was no funding for Ukraine in there. I would urge our federal officials to go ahead and continue to support these people. I think it's important. If Ukraine were to fall to the Russians, I think that would start a domino effect that would not be good for any of us in the country. So those are my points. I wish everyone the best. Happy Halloween when it comes, and hopefully we'll see some people at the Veterans Day. Thank you so much.
I'm supposed to add here, and I neglected to say it, is trick-or-treating in the municipal building on Halloween, on the 31st. Check the website, and it has the details. So then I see, and the children come in costume, and the offices look really pretty, and nice. It is nice. So before we move to we'll go now to the public comments section. I'm going to ask for a motion to open public comments, please.
Motion.
Thank
Second.
you. A second on that, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Member, you come to the microphone, you give us your name and address for the record, please, and each speaker has 5 minutes. Good evening.
My name is Naomi Holzer, and I live at 453 Bluebird Drive.
Yes? Your
I'm
comments, please.
a retired first responder. I'm a registered nurse for 39 years and a certified nurse midwife, and I worked very hard. And I was exposed to a variety of diseases. I did escape COVID because I was already retired by then, but I did HIV, I did hepatitis, I did tuberculosis, I did, I can't even remember all of them, Ebola, preparation. I went through it all, and I was ready to put my life on the line for other people. And but I feel that my contribution to society was paltry compared to veterans. Okay, to me, veterans are the ultimate givers. Okay, they give the real sacrifice. They take a bullet if they have to. Okay, they go over a landmine if they have to. So for me, they are sacred. My father was a veteran, and I think karmically he was so connected to his service his whole life that he actually died on Veterans Day. Okay, I mean, you know, if karma has anything to do with how we live our lives. And I feel that the mayor going alone to address the veterans is a paltry offering. Okay, I don't know why the entire elected council is not going to support these veterans at these affairs where they're being honored. A real show of government that you appreciate, because something can happen to the mayor. Tonight he can't be here. Wouldn't that be a dramatic downfall for the event? But there's safety in numbers. If you have a large group of people showing support and the mayor doesn't make it, okay, the mayor, you know, at least they're going to get everybody showing their support. Why is it that only the mayor goes?
Who said that?
Who said that?
That's what I'm hearing, that
No.
the mayor has been invited. Let me say what I heard. Okay, what I'm hearing is that the mayor has been invited to communities and he's going. Can all the councilmen join him?
It is the common practice on this council for all of us to show up at not only Veterans Day's events, but many other events. But we certainly show up at Veterans Day. I am the child of a veteran myself, so, and I'm not the only one.
So any event in these communities where the mayor is invited, anybody on this council could join him. Is that what I'm made to understand?
I don't know the inviting policies of your particular.
Person is doing the inviting.
They're doing the inviting, but we have all attended at the senior center. We will
No,
all.
I get that. The
Oh,
senior
okay.
center is, but I'm saying that the mayor, why is the mayor being invited
The
alone?
To my knowledge, the mayor was invited to attend at Clearbrook.
And he could easily say, I would love to attend.
Well, perhaps he
And I
will.
will bring my council with me.
Perhaps he will. Perhaps.
I
Consider
want them to get the full Monty of this government support and admiration.
I understand your concerns, and they are shared by not just those of us sitting here, but by many of us sitting in this room, that veterans are important, and they gave some, we know the sacrifices and not sacrifices many of us are asked to make. It is common for the council to appear. I can't say more than that, and I don't know if Clearbrook has invited the rest
Maybe
of
I
us to
could add
come.
something, Council
Maybe you
President?
can
Sure.
check up on it, please.
Well, no, I
and
could
see.
say something. So
Sure,
obviously,
please.
any of the township events that we have is open to the mayor and council, and of course, they almost always attend. I can't think of let me just finish if I could. Okay. The mayor gets invited to a lot of different events all over the place within the community, and he asked me to specifically mention that, you know, he was invited to 2 other events so that they're public and they're out here as well. Obviously, when he goes to a private community, they're almost always welcoming of the council as well to go. But it is not a public event then in the senior center or out at Avenue K. So we cannot dictate and say what has to happen. But as you may know, the mayor formed a veterans committee about 2 years ago, and there have been even more veterans activities happening throughout the town. So he's been getting invited to more and more things, so that I think that's quite helpful, actually, and in terms of trying to engage the veterans community so that they understand how appreciated they are within the town.
And if he was
Council
to
President.
go into the community and there was a councilman present, you would honor that and show the veterans, look, we've brought more people from government to support you, and you would announce their presence in the room. Is that right?
I just announced the meetings, so they are announced here today.
I
So
I just want to go with a clear understanding, because, you know, I'm not a politician, okay, and I'm not a government person. I'd like to know that when there's events at the private communities, are we going to show the support of the entire council who would like to attend?
So as it relates to veterans, I announced them tonight. If different people invite the mayor or other council members to their homes, that is not always a public event. But from a veterans point of view, they were announced tonight. And frankly, Mayor DeLina has done, you know, a tremendous amount for the veterans, which is why I'm mentioning that tonight. So I don't know that legally, and I'll ask the township attorney if I can force everyone to go in. I'm not trying to be difficult. It's just not public property.
They're private communities.
They're private communities.
But if the mayor has an entourage, if he brings his secretary, she would be allowed in. So now he's bringing his council.
No, your time is up. We are very much aware of your comments, and we thank you for it. Anyone else wishing to speak with us, please come forward now. Your name and address for our records, please.
Good afternoon, evening. My name is Joellen Arabito. I'm at 22 Rossmore Drive. So I hear comments about Ukraine and the non-support for Ukraine. However, do any of you have any comments about the non-support of the invasion of our southern borders? Anybody have any comments about that? That our southern borders have not been funded for protection either.
Madam President,
please.
First, the southern border is a problem. There's no doubt about it. Everyone in this country, I think, acknowledges that. This is something that both parties need to come together and draw up the proper legislation so that we can have the sufficient number of judges, the sufficient number of workers, people that can process these people, determine what people have a rightful spot in our country, whether they be welcome to stay or not stay. If they're not welcome because of whatever their background may be, then at that point they would have to be sent back and they would not be allowed in. But it's not a one-party thing.
We have one.
Let me finish,
excuse me, no,
ma'am, you
point of
interrupt
order.
me
No,
every time.
I'm allowed to speak. Do not
excuse me.
I heard your answer. Now I'd like to speak. I'd like to speak.
I was not done with my answer.
I'd like to make a comment to what you just said. The
will have order
president
in
has
this room.
opened the borders.
That's not exactly
That
true.
is
And you know it's
absolutely
not
true.
exactly true.
There is
And you're-
absolutely nobody protecting our borders, and that's because of this president. And we are not getting funded for it. What are your comments about that?
I'm not going to respond to it because your statement is
You're not
true,
gonna respond
ma'am.
'cause you have
And
no comment.
I'm not going to engage you in this kind of conversation.
Then please
Thank you,
don't.
Madam President.
And is there another topic you wish to speak about, or just
Well,
the
I haven't
southern
gotten any
border?
answers. I haven't gotten any adequate answers on
And I'm
this one.
sorry you were displeased with the answer.
And,
The answer you received was the
Councilman
answer
DePiero,
you
thank you
received.
for acknowledging the Italian Heritage Month. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward now. Sir. And your name and address for our records, please.
Yeah, my name is Anjan Karnati. I live in 11 Preservation Drive.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
here to ask, regarding the education of our school. I know everybody knows that Monroe is overcrowded, overdevelopment. Our Monroe residents' parents really are seeking school facilities, sufficient. But I know before development, anybody of our council and, mayor is responsible for school facilities. Is it correct statement? School.
For school,
School facilities are handled by the Board of
Board of
Education.
Yes, but I totally agree, Board of School is separate and, mayor and council is separate. Ultimately, this administration is responsible for Monroe residents' quality of life and education and everything. Is that the correct statement?
No. The Board of Education is responsible for the education of our students.
Yes,
They
I
have
to-
a separate, you know that, I know.
Yeah.
I know that you know that. But do we care about students and of course we do.
Yes.
Of course we do.
So the reason is I'm asking, because of overdevelopment, crowded, Monroe's population is increasing day by day. Before giving any approvals, do you concern with the planning, zoning, and as well as Board of Education? Okay, hey, we are bringing 5,000 population this year because we are developing. So are we meeting as responsible? Who is responsible to meet with the planning board and zoning board and as a Board of Education? So here there is a detachment. I can see that. Board of Education is responsible for education and administration is responsible development. But there is no meetings going on, there is no information exchange is not going on. Because of that, schools are overcrowded, development is happening parallelly, and schools are really not sufficient. That is what I am hearing from the parents, the Indian parents, Asian parents. They are saying, they are complaining schools are really not enough accommodation. Please, sir.
Sure. Would you please, do
Sure,
you wish
so-
to reiterate what the meetings that are now taking
Sure,
place
so-
regarding this issue?
Whenever requested by the Board of Ed, and it's
Right,
normally
please.
around the demographer studies when they're operating their long-range facilities plan, I certainly meet along with our planning director and our engineer and others and go through everything that's basically in the pipeline. As you may or may not know, at this point, 96% of all future development in Monroe that's slated is part of the court-ordered affordable housing, which is not unique to Monroe, but to every town, as you can see in this location in here. And that would be the developments that you see right now, whether it be, Monroe Park, Monroe Village, or Georgetown Estates, whatever they're calling it now. Those are all part of our affordable housing settlement, just as was Arbors and Monroe 33, as was Stratford, and as was Monroe Manor. So all of these locations are part of our affordable housing settlements. Moving forward, 96% of them are tied to that settlement, and I have certainly gone through that with the board. And you might want to take a look at some of their recent long-range plans. They were very different from 2017 to 2022, quite different. And so I would suggest you may want to touch base with them in terms of the long-range plans of what they predicted when they did their last, earlier this year, their last long-range facilities plan.
So basically, you're saying that, in future, there is no increase in the enrollments in the school? That's what you're
That's
saying?
not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we share all our information with the Board of Education. The Board of Education does, by regulation, a long-range facility plan that hires a demographer that coordinates with us. The demographer's plan in 2017 was very different from the demographer's plan in early 2023 or late 2022, and you should ask those questions to the Board of Education since they produced the demographer's plan.
But instead of public is going to ask Board of Education, administration is asking anything to the Board of Education, what you have done so far?
I want to make sure I understand.
Yes, please.
So the purview of moving things like referendums, and I'm just trying to be as clear as I
the
can,
board.
is something that happens with the Board of Ed.
Not us.
I think as you heard a little earlier today, where there's an opportunity for the township, where there's a state match for the township to potentially get involved so we don't lose state dollars, that is
Well-
possibly a win-win scenario.
So are we seeking state grants for the school, anything?
So again, you should touch base with the Board of Ed. They just received a $4 million ROD grant and a $1 million state grant that I believe requires a match. That's what I was referencing earlier. And so we certainly want to make sure that that opportunity doesn't pass by Monroe. The other way for the Board of Ed to get funding towards new schools is through a referendum. Not going to comment on that, but there is some debt service aid associated with that.
Yeah, I know that referendum has been failed 3
Sorry.
times, right?
Yes.
So, and one more question, madam.
Please, your time has passed, sir, and there are other people here. I thank you for your comments and questions. You're most welcome. Your name and address for our records, please.
SO 625 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road. With all due respect, Madam President, I do believe a point of order is from the patron to the chair, and then the chair directs the other people to...
Your comments to this board, please. Or questions.
Okay. Statement. In this town, we have builders and engineering firms over our residents. We have chose engineering firms and builders over our residents of Monroe, and it needs to end. The excuses need to end. Stop telling us about the affordable housing that needs to be built when you only sprinkle in affordable housing units here and there into these monstrous neighborhoods that are overcrowding our town, our roads, and our schools. We watch election season after election season, our mayor and the council, other than Charlie DiPiero, Councilman DiPiero, excuse me.
You serious? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Would you please allow the speaker? Thank you very much, Councilman. Please continue. Sir, would you please continue your statement?
I'll continue, but I am shocked at the demeanor of an elected official like that.
I would like you to
I do
please-
believe you are legal counsel, aren't you?
Excuse me, sir, you have a 5-minute time limit, so would you
No,
please
no,
deliver
I'm
your
more than 5
questions or
minutes now.
comments?
Other than Councilman DiPiero, okay, campaign contributions from builders and engineering firms rather than fighting for impact fees. Each and every one of you, exception Mr. Markle, I don't know yet, have taken money from engineers and builders. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. You can say the state changed the law and won't allow you to force builders to pay for the impact fees or their developers have on our town, but please tell us why you take their money for your personal campaigns. Same engineering firm that you all turn around and vote to appoint as the town engineer. Then the mayor appoints the planning and zoning board members, and residents wonder why there are so many variances issued to allow building where there should be, or lots that are too small for another house, but they get through. Builders fund campaigns, you get elected, and then you appoint the people to allow the overbuilding to continue. It's a vicious circle here in Monroe. Our concern is the residents behind us and the residents around this town. The problem at hand here is we have these builders and engineers giving to the PAC funds, which are going to you folks, okay? And in turn, our schools are overcrowded. I believe the business administrator said that we're 10% up on visitation to our library. Well, I can tell you this, it's probably not the adults as much as the children. So where are these kids going? Okay? The bottom line is we're overbuilding our town, we're destroying our town, and the fact of the matter is the residents are going to pay for it in the long run, and they're going to pay dearly, okay, when a new school has to be built, and we are taking the blow, our taxpayers are taking the blow. So, now an issue that's a big issue, and it's an issue throughout the country. Now we're hearing about the migrants coming to Monroe. It is a fact that Monroe does not own the Bold Boys Home over off Schoolhouse Road. This is true, correct, Madam President? Yes. The state owns that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. It was brought up last month, and Mr. Van Zura got very upset at a resident for even speaking about the issue, which I do feel, Ms. Van Zura, an apology
Would you
is...
please direct your comments to me?
Madam
Thank
President,
you.
Madam
Thank you
President,
so much.
I do believe, you're welcome, my apologies. But, through the, Madam President, I do believe Councilman Van Zura owes Mrs. Arabito an apology for the way he conducted himself at the last Township Council meeting. Okay, thank you. We know what Governor Murphy does in this state and how he panders to the Democrats in Washington. We saw it with COVID. This is no different. We need to know what this town council and mayor will do when Governor Murphy tells you the migrants are being dropped off at the boys' home. The people of Monroe deserve a mayor and a council. And this is not political. They deserve a mayor and a council that are going to fight for the people of Monroe. And currently, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, that is not happening. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak? Please.
Can I just address?
Oh, of course, please.
Just one thing on the boys' home. So we did have a meeting here probably a week ago, a semi-annual meeting on the 21st where representatives of the boys' home come here. It's advertised in the paper. I know Councilman DiPiero and Councilman Van Zura were not able to be there, but one of our members, Mr. Pyro, asked a direct question of the leadership of the boys' home, whether or not there was any plans for migrants to be moving to the boys' home. They were emphatic in that it is still operating for another 5 years at that location. They had never heard of it. There would be no way that would be possible, and they basically stated on the record that that will not happen at the boys' home. So I do want to share that information. That came from a public meeting right in this location about 10 days ago. So
Thank you,
just
Mr.
want to put that on the record.
Weinberg. Would you please, sir? Sir, please. You made questions. You had your time. Gave you more information. I believe someone else is waiting to speak to us. Please come forward, sir. Again, your name and address for our records, please. Oops.
Adam Durando, 66 Avenue D.
Yes.
As I read through the e-newsletters and the newsletters, I see that NJ Anchor was delivered by we, along with Mayor Delina delivered the address for the NJ Stay. So I'm assuming we is the mayor and council when these are state programs. My question to the board is what are we doing as a town to lower the cost for Monroe, for every Monroe resident to live here? Now, I understand that the budget's only 20% of your overall tax bill. I see tables in the newsletters as well that says that Monroe is the second lowest. Why aren't we striving for first? Why aren't we going back for that first? This town was set up in such a way in the beginning that we should be first in the lowest tax rate, and we should be making it more affordable to stay here for everybody, not just the seniors over 65. There's 40% of the residents here are between that 18 and 65 age division. What are we doing here for everybody to lower the cost of living in Monroe? Besides holding the tax rate steady, even though that there's $2 million more in the budget, that's going to come, I think, to bite us when we have another double-digit tax increase on a municipal level. So what are we doing to lower the taxes in Monroe at the municipal level?
So I'll just speak if I can for the
Sure.
administration. So, and I think you bring up some
Please.
really good points.
Yes,
So
you do.
obviously we've made a tremendous effort to try and keep the municipal tax rate low, as you mentioned. I think it is lower today than it is in 2020. The school budget tax rate is lower than it is lower today than it was in 2020. We've been fighting for additional school aid as part of S2. The Anchor program, just to clarify for everyone, is open to everyone over the age of 18, but you do have to make less than $250,000. So it is not open to everyone within the community, and that's up to $1,500. And actually, there was a big fight on that. In terms of trying to get that accomplished. The Stay NJ concept is a good one. We're not quite there yet. That's something that I know the mayor is working towards, and some expansions on the senior freeze. But I know as a township, we've done everything we can to try and stay focused on affordable. I'm not aware of any double-digit increases. We obviously, as we look to the 2024 budget, we'll take a look at things, but not anticipating anything along that line. But frankly, the administration's focus has been on affordability and doing everything we can to keep taxes as stable as we possibly can within the town by refinancing our debt and a variety of other things, Council President.
Well, so stable, sorry?
Go ahead, sir.
So stable doesn't mean lower, it just means flat, and it's been flat for the past 3 years. But also, just lowering it for everybody. And to be clear, NJ Stay and Anchor are state programs, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the council, the mayor and council didn't deliver those programs. That was from the state. Correct?
The legislature passed those programs. The mayor was asked to testify when Stay in New Jersey was in committee, and he was asked to speak. And he did speak, and we hope that helped influence what was a bipartisan effort by the Senate and the Assembly to pass those bills. These were bipartisan bills.
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. No, thank you, sir. Anyone else waiting to speak to us? Yes, please, sir. And please, sir, your name and address for our records.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Harold Kane, 40B Newport Way in Rossmore.
Yes.
I'm a veteran of the Vietnam era. And which one? I've always been concerned with Veterans Affairs. I'm one of the officers of Post 401 in South Brunswick. And for the last few years, we've heard about the veterans' housing that was scheduled to be built in Monroe. And
Correct.
I know they just broke ground and they've started, and it's probably been 3 years since it was in discussions and all that. But now we're starting to hear maybe, and this was at League of Women Voters event down at the Senior Center, like conflicting numbers as to what it's really going to be. And we heard that the build-out will be 80 units of 1, 2, and 3 bedrooms. Most of the veterans you'll find in this area do not need 3 bedrooms. They live in houses with 2 but need 1. I mean, the reality is we're not a young crowd anymore. The veterans you would hope to come to this area don't exist for the simple reason of the drawdown in the military since the 70s. The military today is half the size it was when I was in. And a lot of veterans, and I have personal friends like this, were from the northern states, were stationed in the southern states, got used to the warm weather and never went home. So you have this drawdown in the number of veterans coming into New Jersey is way down. It's probably almost a negative number right now. So what I was looking at for members of our post was if there's 80 units there, at League of Women Voters, I think the mayor said, no, it's 37 units.
No.
I could clarify that.
Will you let Mr. Weinberg review how
when
the
he's done,
numbers
if you
work?
want. I don't want to take your time.
No, you
if
can
want to
finish
keep
your
going.
your comments.
Well, that was basically, there were
Oh,
some
okay.
questions about
Right.
what is it?
So these are all great questions. Appreciate your service. So as part of the affordable housing settlement, we had 37 units that were court ordered to be veterans only. Those will be veterans only. And then we were able to get some additional funding from the state without using Monroe taxpayer dollars to do an additional 43 that are going to be veterans preference. And the bedroom units within the building are set by COA. It's Council on Affordable Housing and Regulation. And so veterans can move into the 1 and 2 bedrooms. Sometimes they'll let a single person move into a 2-bedroom with an exemption. But basically at this point, 37 units will be veterans. 43 units will be veterans preference, which means they go to veterans unless nobody applies to fill those units. And we're certainly optimistic. We met with the Veterans Council. We're going to be going out and doing meetings with all the folks around the town. It's going to be a beautiful facility. And ultimately, not only is it great for our veterans, but as you know, and as was mentioned earlier, by building 80 of these units that are going to be built ourselves through the Affordable Housing Fund, which is not taxpayer dollars, we will prevent 320 units, because as someone articulately mentioned earlier, which is really not a great scenario, but is the law of the land in New Jersey, when the developers come in and intercede in these affordable housing cases, and all the municipalities you see around here, when they build an affordable unit, they get to build 4 market rate units. Right. And so there's only 20% in those places that I mentioned earlier, whether it be Monroe Manor, Stratford, Monroe Park, that is affordable. The other 80 is market rate. So when we build these 80, that ultimately saves us 320 because we're building them ourselves. And we were able to expand from 37 to 80 by using state affordable housing tax credits through the Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, and that's what we did with that.
Is this open to any veteran, or do they give priority to Monroe?
So it's open to any veteran,
veteran.
and including the reserves.
And a couple notes here. Are there any amenities? We had heard, this was a while ago, that there would be like maybe some meeting rooms, or is it like any car sheds? I doubt it'd be garages, but car sheds.
There are community meeting rooms. There also are social service rooms. So as part of this project, it won't just be 80 units of housing. There's going to be a social service agency that partners with, in this case, someone who's what's called an affordable housing developer, specialized in affordable housing. And that nonprofit will be based in there to help the 80 veterans who live in there get access to services which are through the federal, state, and other sources. So there'll be medical rooms there for people to be able to see doctors, and social service rooms there.
So like van service to medical facility or doctor's visits and all that?
There'll be a social worker who's focused on veteran services, since most of the people will be in the building.
And they
are
would
veterans.
direct to wherever they need to go?
They can either help them get to a doctor or a service, or they can bring the doctor or service into the medical room that'll be there.
Okay, good, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us, please come forward now. Again, your name and address for our records.
Brian Fabiano, is this on?
I have. Yeah, it's on. I think we hear you. Okay. Microphones are not my friend, so I wouldn't rely on
Brian Fabiano, 19 Patricia Place. I just want to offer the council a few comments. One of the gentlemen here mentioned the term vicious cycle. I believe that's the way he termed it. You know, and I noticed the same thing watching council meetings and being involved in the Board of Education meetings for quite a number of years. We have a yearly vicious cycle when it comes to elections. 2 or 3 months before the election, a few people come out, particularly those that want to run, and they talk about all the things, you know, the big buzzwords to try to provoke emotions in the community, things that they think are important to help them gain votes. And then the election passes, and then you never hear from them again. We do it year after year after year. But the facts remain. You can see what gets accomplished by this council and in this town, and what doesn't. To come up to this microphone with fallacies around immigrants coming to an active prisoner camp that we already heard is in existence for at least another 5 years is one of the most bizarre thought processes I've ever heard. I'm sure it provokes emotions like it does with the border and things like that, but it's just really a joke. More importantly, you know, as I see this election play out, I see particularly one team attacking another team with all these fallacies. I must say, the current number of people here that are sitting here on Team Delina have not gone to that level, and I think that says a lot. I think it says a lot about character, and I think it says a lot about staying to the issues. I think it's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's funny.
Your turn.
I think it's funny that a gentleman comes here every election season who claims to be in charge of the Republican organization here and talks about overdevelopment in town, talks about overdevelopment in
Just a
town.
moment, please.
But we have a council member who is a developer.
Do you, please, I'm going to ask
So my
that
point
you-
is this, my point is this. No, this isn't politics. When you come and lie at this dais, when you come and lie, this facts,
Mr. Fabiano,
the facts.
please
Okay,
don't
so
do
then let
this.
me address
And
with the
with all
facts
the
that I've
rest of
seen.
you, please, quiet.
So then
Now.
let me address this council with things that I've seen you propose and promise the community and things that I've seen accomplished this year. BFI landfill was a big one. There were residents by me, I live on that side of town, lining up with complaints about the stench, about the issues they were having in their homes. This council, this mayor said they were going to take care of the BFI issue, and they did. I didn't think it was going to happen, and they did.
Stop.
Okay? Number one. Number two, this council, including Mr. DePiero, all of you said you were going to bring veterans housing, and you did.
All of us.
You delivered on it, all of you. Okay? It's not one party or a next. This council said you were going to increase senior programs. You all voted on it, and you did. This council said you were going to increase more activities, more of the parks in the town. Bocce ball, cricket courts, and all the different things you guys said. You said you were going to do it, you're developing it. So I don't understand how anyone could come up here and say that government is not happening and things are not progressing, and it's been by everyone up here, not just one person, two people, by the whole entire council. So I don't understand where these fallacies come up. The last thing I'll say is this. If you're running for town government, and you don't know the responsibilities of a town council versus the Board of Education, which I have not seen anyone here show up to, maybe I can count on one hand.
Please finish.
I'll say, if you don't know the responsibilities of the office that you're running for, you shouldn't be running in the first place. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Pat Swalje, 586A Madison Drive. I'm not going to bring up any national issues. I'm not going to bring up about the border wall, which should have been done under President Trump's. Mexico should have paid for it. I'm not going to bring that up. But I did, because this is an important election, a local election for local issues.
I'm going to ask you to please,
I
people
did
are leaving and they're not being
attend-
so quiet. So
Well, I know that. They're making a ruckus. It's not the House of Representatives that is controlled by the Republicans. That's not us here in Monroe. And I don't want to see that type of government here or the type of candidates that are running. I don't want to see that behavior.
Please don't discuss the candidates.
Okay, so what I'm going to say is I think that our local election is very important, that we stick to our local issues. I'm going to, I went to the League of Women Voters candidates night, and one of the things that was said over and over again was transparency, transparency, we need more transparency, with the inference that we don't have it. So I went online and I looked at the Township Council website, and it is a beautiful website. There's everything on there. Every department, every commission, phone numbers, our facilities, and a whole year's worth of council minutes. And I noticed a pattern. So I'm going to ask, with your permission, Madam President, there has been a pattern of abstentions for this year's worth of council minutes that I saw on there. One particular person abstains for a large number of things. With your permission, I'd like to ask Councilman DiPiero why he's abstaining from the 5 resolutions.
It's not.
Sorry, ma'am, that's not appropriate. Council votes their conscience. If they feel that they can't vote in favor or against something, an abstention is entirely appropriate. The time period for asking those questions might have been when the council person decided how they were going to vote, or it could be on the advice of council because they needed to recuse themselves because they may have an interest in the vote that's being taken. So while I appreciate your question, it's not an appropriate question, and we're not going to go into each individual vote of each council member because that's just not the right way that we do things.
Well, I'm not asking that, and I understand that it is at the, it's up to the council person themselves.
Sure.
And I'm asking because in September 2022, I did ask the question, and it was allowed, of why a vote was abstained from, and the councilman did answer it. He said, I have a conflict of interest. That's why I abstained. But then I saw a pattern of this. So I think if transparency is going to be an issue on the council, I think it's an appropriate question to ask, particularly since I'm not running for office. I'm just Patty Q Public here. And I don't want to see the vitriol and just the nastiness that we see on the national level brought into our community. And it's here. We see it here. I don't like it. I don't want it to continue. We are a democracy. We're the United States of America. And that's how anyone running for office should behave for all of us. This gentleman was speaking. When we heard other people speak, everybody was very polite. Nobody catcalled, nobody yelled from the audience. So everyone has an opportunity to speak without being interrupted. That's a democracy, and that's what I want to see in Monroe. That's the community I've grown to love since I've moved here. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak, please come forward now. This place is in Beagle.
Is it too cold?
Your name and address, yes. Your name and address for our records, please. Sorry, that's the...
No problem.
Thank you.
I'm always compliant. Michelle Arminio, 9 Nathaniel Street. I believe everybody has an opportunity. This is not what I was preparing to say. However, I have seen on both sides of this desk people laughing at residents when they come up, people making funny faces or rolling their eyes at council people when they speak on the council. Everyone is duly elected, regardless of your party. I think we should respect the council, and the council should respect the public. When you are voted in, you are voted in to represent all of the residents. I would like to see that, and I would like to see our council people not laugh at either other councilmen or members of the public, and it does happen. So I also think that sticking to the local issues on a night like this, if you want to have a separate special meeting for national things and all that, great, I'll participate. But I do want to thank Councilman DePiero, because he speaks to specific community needs. And I'm glad everybody enjoys all the parties and all the activities that they go to on this council. But when when Councilman DePiero comes and he asks, and he seems to be cognizant of the ground level, day-by-day streets of Monroe. And when he sees something that needs correcting, he comes and asks for help and repairs. And sometimes he's sneered at, and sometimes he's laughed at. And I find that disturbing, because whether I agree with him or not on certain issues, I feel he has a right, and that he seems to be protecting the quality of life in detail when he sees it on his way around the town. So he encourages repairs, he asks for things. I find that that's a decent way to proceed, regardless of your party. So I would ask that we have a little more decency all around. In terms of the cable channel, I've been waiting for that. I think that is a source of valuable information. We do have a large percentage of seniors that do rely on cable. I've heard members of the Board of Education talk about all of the newer technologies that people can get information. But the cable channel is an archive, it's a public record, and again, the overused word transparency. I would like to see this council really get going on that. I mean, I think that it's an important part of the services. We spend a lot of money on services. I think that those funds would be well spent on those services. So I believe that, let's see, going forward, let's have respect for everybody. I wish all good luck, but let's keep all the residents in mind, not just the people who come out to support particular people. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address us tonight? Please. Your name and address for our records, please.
Beth DePiero, 404 Spotswood Gravel Hill Road in Monroe. I do want to apologize to everybody for my outburst. I have seen this in the past where people would go on about politicking and it was stopped right away, and this wasn't. That's why I had my outburst, because I just asked for fairness for everyone, residents and council. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else wish to address the council, please come forward now. Seeing and hearing none, I think I'm going to ask a motion to close the public portion of the meeting, please. May I have a second on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? May I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? This meeting is adjourned. We thank you for your attendance this evening.